Alright, Schlockmeister fans, here's kind of an odd, lost, forgotten film. It's called The Amazing Captain Nemo. Burgess Meredith. Let's watch. That's Burgess Meredith. He is Waldo Cunningham, bad guy. He's on a submarine underwater somewhere.
Fire that missile at precisely 8 p.m. 1 week from today, totally destroying your capital city. Unless,
he wants $1 billion. To prove he has that power, he blows up in a deserted island somewhere in the South Pacific.
President, that this was no empty threat.
Some divers find a sunken ship or submarine, and believe it or not, on board is, frozen in time, the real Captain Nemo. So of course they thaw him out.
Oh my God.
You flatter me, sir.
Who are you, sir?
I do believe it. But, sir,
Captain Nemo's a fictional character out of a book by Jules Verne.
did it ever occur to you, Commander, that the author was not only a novelist, but a biographer as well?
He's looking for Atlantis.
I've been imprisoned here for over 100 years. If I can leave this reef, I can resume my search for Atlantis.
Atlantis? 1,000 feet. No submarine can withstand that kind of pressure.
You're wrong, Lieutenant. Nautilus can.
Nemo.
This is the president.
Captain Nemo. The Captain Nemo.
There is only one, sir.
And naturally, you arrived aboard the Nautilus.
Naturally.
He's going to help the U.S.
Not a commercial enterprise, Captain. But we might be able to work out another rate of exchange.
Mr. Miller, I'm going to repay that debt. I have less than 24 hours. You will give me the last known position of Raven.
Raven is Cunningham's ship.
Submersible must be destroyed.
They fire upon the Nautilus and it has no effect.
Amazing. No vessel can survive contact with the Delta V. Therefore, that submarine.
Nemo and his couple men
Pathetic expeditionary
pay
force.
Cunningham a
We are
visit.
sufficient, Professor.
And who are we?
Commander Tom Franklin, United States Navy.
I'm Captain Nemo of the Nautilus.
Cunningham has a freeze ray.
There are so few men that I can talk to, and so few intellects that I envy.
But they're eventually able to escape. Very Star Wars-like.
Aliens are dead.
Do we really believe that? Cunningham uses his doomsday rocket, but Nemo shoots it out of the sky. Crisis averted for now.
I'm afraid that henceforth you shall have to deal with it. I sail for Atlantis. And with your kind permission, and of course if they are willing, I should like to take Commander Franklin and Lieutenant Porter with me. Professor Cunningham would be...
But he wants to use Nemo again.
Captain, strong currents could carry those radioactive wastes from one end of the Pacific to the other, killing millions.
Mr. Miller.
All I'm going to do is slow up Nemo for 24 hours. That's all. When it's done, there'll be enough money put in a Swiss bank account to make everything we've ever dreamed.
They're on board the Nautilus, but they're not good guys. They're going through a minefield. An underwater minefield. One mine kind of got stuck to the Nautilus. They get rid of it just in time.
Tried your best to kill me. You led Nemo into that minefield by putting Nautilus off course.
Not you, Cook. I tried to destroy Nemo.
So now he's going to try to sabotage this submersible sub Nemo and Linda Day George are in by cutting off their oxygen. But it doesn't work, and they get back, and then a sword fight ensues. That is Jose Ferrer and Mel Ferrer. No relation. Jose is going to win this fight. Captain Nemo. Sure enough, Nemo finds Atlantis.
Gentlemen, the fabled, magnificent continent of Atlantis, dead ahead.
And they get visited by their king, an Atlantean.
There.
No. That's the old Atlantis, abandoned long ago. Earthquakes made it uninhabitable. We've gone below the flow of the ocean for the new Atlantis.
Friends are indeed enemies.
The council doesn't trust them.
We have had enough treachery.
I know you have suffered. I am here to help.
So said the first. Then took my brother prisoner.
He basically shows them I could kill you if I wanted to.
I could have killed all of you, and I did not do so. Is that the act of a conqueror? Tom, report.
Apparently the freeze ray got a hold of some of Nemo's men. Cunningham is afoot.
Those of my men who are not in a trance are gone. We have been...
The king and
Welcome, Captain.
Nemo are taken
I grew
prisoner.
weary of your presence, Professor.
Captain, this is the man who captured many of my people after I permitted him to meet with us.
Crows are our element. It is deadly, sir. It is condemned. It is banned by every nation in the world. And I have 20 of them.
Never.
No.
He's gonna probe Nemo's mind to find out how his laser beam works.
Ah, that's the formula.
Professor Cunningham. Tom, remove the headband. Tom,
The headband is controlling him. Was.
Without it, you'll be helpless.
Don't worry about us. Go back. Hurry.
All right. I'll take the mini-sub back to Nautilus and pray for your return.
Thank you. Go.
The good guys and the bad guys battle underwater. And eventually the Nautilus comes out on top, destroying Cunningham's Raven ship.
That takes care of the professor.
From Earth.
They say their goodbyes.
You have had enough of such guests. Let Atlantis remain untouched by our progress.
And that's our film. All right. It's The Amazing Captain Nemo from 1978. It was actually a made-for-television. It was actually supposed to be like a TV series. They made 3 episodes of it, kind of like a mini-series. They were all kind of strung together. It was like a story arc. But the ratings were dismal, and it lasted 3 episodes. So then they condensed it down into a theatrical 1 hour and 42 minutes, and it did actually get released in the theaters. And that's the last we ever heard of Captain Nemo. Captain Nemo played by Jose Ferrer, and his nemesis was Burgess Meredith, who played Captain Cunningham. And if you watch this movie, it's kind of is in like 3 little parts too. You can kind of tell where one story ended when the other one began. The first one was with Captain Cunningham, Burgess Meredith, the bad guy. He's kind of like a James Bond villain. He's got his own submarine, and he's threatening to blow up Washington, D.C. with his doomsday machine. He's got this big rocket. And somehow these divers find the Nautilus underwater, and they find Captain Nemo in some sort of suspended animation, like cryogenics. He froze down there. He's been frozen for over 100 years, and they thaw him out, and it turns out, even though Jules Verne wrote the story about Captain Nemo, he says Jules Verne was a biographer too. It was a true story, and I am the real Captain Nemo. This is the real Nautilus, and I guess it was. That's according to this movie here. So in the first story arc, he's kind of hired by the United States to combat and stop this doomsday machine, which he does at the end by blowing it up. And then the next story arc involves a spy on board who also we find out is actually hired by this Captain Cunningham, Burgess Meredith. The two of them end up having a sword fight at the end, of which, of course, Nemo wins. And the third story arc involves finding the lost city of Atlantis, which was Captain Nemo's goal for the whole thing. He wanted to find Atlantis, and he does find it. He finds an Atlantean. They take him down to this underwater. Well, they find the underwater city, which has been abandoned. They have like a new city underneath the old city, where it's dry and stuff. And the Atlanteans don't trust him at first, but they eventually do learn to trust him because they found out they both have the same nemesis, Captain Cunningham, who has killed some of the Atlanteans in the past. Ultimately, they have a showdown underwater with the two submarines battling it out, and they blow up Captain Cunningham's ship, and that's the end of that film. End of the third story, end of the arc, whatever it is. It's the end of the story. So anyway, this is a movie that I actually had on a pre-recorded VHS tape, a PAL VHS tape from the UK. It was never available in the United States on tape for some reason. It's a cheesy film, to be sure. It's very comical, kind of. The special effects, I guess, weren't bad, but you can tell they're just kind of cheesy. They're not like Star Wars, which came out a year earlier. I think they were trying to get a little bit of the Star Wars effect into this stuff with some of the alien creatures that you saw in the battle in the kind of looked like the corridor where Princess Leia was held. It just didn't have the magic of Star Wars, not by a long shot. Linda Day George is in this, as well as Mel Ferrer, no relation to Jose. And that's pretty much it. You can get this DVD from Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. You can get this for like under $11, so it's a pretty good deal. The movie itself, like I said, it's cheesy, but it's kind of fun. It's put out by the Warner Archive Collection. It's nice to have this finally, so thank you, Warner Brothers, for putting this out. It's called The Amazing Captain Nemo. Let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. We'll talk about it. Captain Nemo, watch it. Bye.